The earth groaned. From every corner of the planet, the tremors echoed like a death knell, signaling the beginning of the end. Storms tore through cities with unnatural fury, hurricanes lashing coasts where they had never been. The sky burned red as ash from volcanic eruptions choked the horizon. Rowan Parks stood on the observation deck of Providence, her eyes scanning the chaos through the reinforced glass. Below, the Arctic ice cracked and melted, the hangar now surrounded by a sea of shifting water. "It's starting," she whispered. The hybrids fell first. Scattered across the globe, they collapsed where they stood, their glowing eyes flickering like dying embers. Severed from the signal and the Watcher's power, their once mortal forms disintegrated, leaving no trace behind. What had been unstoppable forces of precision and dominance were now nothing more than memories. Inside Providence, chaos reigned. Engineers scrambled to finalize critical systems, while Rowan's voice crackled over the intercom. "Life support is still incomplete," one technician reported, his voice shaking. "We're missing redundancies in sections B12 through C4. "We don't have time for redundancies," Rowan replied. "We launch with what we have." The ship's reactor hummed faintly, its power levels fluctuating. Monitors flickered as the structural integrity of the hull registered a dangerously thin margin for error. "If the launch stress exceeds projections," another voice began. "It won't matter," Rowan interrupted. "If we stay here, none of us survive." The tremors grew stronger, shaking the ship as the cataclysm reached its peak. The final countdown began. "Engaging propulsion," one engineer called out. The room fell silent, except for the low roar of the engines. "Structural integrity holding," another voice confirmed. "Barely." Rowan gripped the edge of her console, her knuckles white. The ship shuddered violently as the launch sequence activated. Lights flickered, and alarms blared, warning of unstable pressure levels. "Hold," she whispered. The engines roared to life, propelling Providence upward. The ground fell away, the icy expanse of the Arctic shrinking below as the ship climbed higher and higher. The sky darkened, the red glow of the cataclysm fading into the void of space. From the viewport, Rowan saw the Earth for the last time, or so it felt. The once beautiful planet was shrouded in storms, its surface fractured by earthquakes and fire. But even amid the chaos, there was a strange, almost holy sense of purpose. "It's cleansing itself," she said softly, her breath fogging the glass. Providence stabilized in orbit, its systems barely holding together. The survivors, those few who had made it aboard, gathered in the observation deck, their faces pale with exhaustion and disbelief. "We escaped," one of them murmured, breaking the silence. Rowan turned away from the view and stepped into the quiet corridors of the ship. Around her, the engineers worked tirelessly to repair what they could. Life support systems wheezed under the strain, and the food reserves were meager, but they were alive, and for now, that was enough. In the command room, a map of Earth spun slowly on the central display, its surface glowing faintly with the energy of the ongoing cataclysm. Rowan's eyes lingered on it as a technician approached. "How long?" the young man asked hesitantly. Rowan didn't answer right away. The Earth below was a tempest of wrath and renewal, a planet tearing itself apart to become something whole again. "Long enough," she finally said. "We'll wait as long as it takes." The words felt heavy, but they were true. Providence wasn't a sanctuary in the stars. It was a lifeboat, a bridge to a future still rooted in the soil of the Earth. This wasn't the end of humanity. It was a pause. A moment of reckoning before the floodwaters receded and they could return to rebuild.